described yourself as stuck, like you're in some kind of invisible pause, watching your life happen around you but unable to move forward. It's more common than most people realize, but what we often misunderstand is this. Stuckness isn't laziness, it's not a lack of motivation, and it's rarely about clarity, and it's definitely not a character flaw. Stuckness is a nervous system strategy. Let's unpack that, because when you understand what's really going on beneath the surface, everything begins to make more sense. In this episode, I'm going to walk you through 3 deeper, lesser known reasons we get stuck, why logic and productivity hacks often make it worse, and a practice you can use to gently move from frozen to flow. So let's begin with something personal. There was a time in my life where I was showing up, doing the work, following the plan, but something inside me wasn't cooperating. The tasks were simple, the goals were clear, but every action felt heavier than it should have. And I told myself all the usual things. You just need more discipline. You need to stop procrastinating. You should be able to do this, Angela. But no matter how much I pushed, I didn't move. And it wasn't until I started studying the nervous system that I realized what was actually going on. My body had learned through lived experience that certain kinds of forward motion, especially the ones that required visibility, emotional exposure, or risk, that they weren't safe. So it did what bodies do best. It protected me. It initiated the freeze response. And this is what people don't realize. Stuckness is often your system's most intelligent response to a perceived threat, even if that threat is no longer real. So let's take a look at what might be going on underneath your stuckness. So first, there's conflicting desires, where one part of you deeply wants something to change, and another part of you fears that change. It fears what that change might cost. You want more freedom, but fear losing stability. You want more visibility, but fear being judged or misunderstood. You want more rest, but feel guilty stepping away. These aren't irrational fears. They're rooted in memory. Moments where you took a risk and were hurt, or were told that your needs, voice, or pace just weren't valid. So your system holds both, the desire and the fear. And this conflict, it results in paralysis. So you're not lazy, you're managing a very real, very internal conflict. Secondly, there's misaligned goals. Sometimes stuckness is your body's way of rejecting something that isn't truly you. Maybe you set a goal that's logical, strategic, or externally approved, but it doesn't actually resonate deep down in your subconscious. It's not anchored in your values, your rhythm, or your real priorities, so your body resists. You try to push through, but the friction won't go away. You feel tired, avoidant, disinterested. You start sabotaging yourself, but this is because a deeper part of you is saying, this isn't for me, this isn't right. And this is especially common when you're following someone else's blueprint, a 5-step plan that your coach or mentor has come up with that doesn't account for your energy or your trauma history or your capacity or your truth. Stuckness here is a boundary, a signal, not a failure. It's your body exerting its boundary, telling you it's not right. And thirdly, it could be nervous system overload. And this is the one that often hides in plain sight. When your nervous system is carrying too much, too many micro decisions, unresolved stress, emotional labor, or just simply not enough rest. It doesn't matter how clear your to-do list is, if your body is maxed out, you will struggle to move. And this can show up as brain fog, decision fatigue, an inability to prioritize, or even just a sense of blankness. Everything feels hard. Your system is asking for regulation. It's where the traditional advice, just do it, fails. Push through, eat the frog. That might work for a day, but if your stuckness is rooted in nervous system dysregulation, pressure won't create momentum. So what actually helps? Let's talk about how to move forward from stuckness, gently and sustainably. I say this a lot, but start with awareness, not action. Pause and ask, Is this really resistance or is it protection? Because if your body is in protection mode, be it against conflicting desires, misaligned goals, or nervous system overload, pushing will only reinforce that sense of threat. So give yourself permission to get curious before you get productive. Then identify whether there's a fear beneath the freeze. Ask yourself, what would happen if I did the thing I'm avoiding? And don't just think it logically, feel it. What fear shows up? Is it fear of failure, rejection, being seen, disappointing someone, fear of success even? When you name the fear, it loses some of its power, and you stop treating the task as the enemy and start understanding the internal negotiation underneath it. Regulate before you initiate. If your system is stuck, it needs signals of safety. And that might look like box breathing before you open your laptop, which is breathing in for 4, holding for 4, out for 4, hold for 4, and repeating. It could be 5 minutes of movement before you sit down to work. You could say out loud, this is safe now. Or you could give yourself a gentle anchor, like a hand on the heart, a warm drink, or soft lighting, and like a little ritual before you start working. Your aim is to create a felt sense of safety before asking your system to act. And fourthly, redefine what counts as progress. Progress isn't just ticking something off, it's choosing a different response. So if yesterday you avoided the task and today you sat with the discomfort for 5 minutes, you've moved. If yesterday you numbed out and today you named your fear, you've moved. And these are the foundations of momentum. So here's a practice that you can try today. Find a quiet moment, sit somewhere that you feel safe, no phone, no input, and place one hand on your chest and close your eyes. And ask yourself, if my stuckness had a message for me, what would it say? Wait, let your body speak. You might hear, I'm tired, I'm scared of being judged, I need more time. I want to do it differently. After you've listened, ask yourself, what would help me feel 5% more ready? That's it, not 100%, just 5%. Then act on what you hear. This is how stuckness shifts, not with force, but with respect. And if this video gave you something to think about, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss what's next. And I'll see you again soon.